Well, welcome to the Money Tip Podcast. This is episode number
331.
My name is Joe Sengel. I'm one of the podcast co-hosts, and that was the voice of the lovely Megan Hibbard. Are you fired up today?
Fired up. Happy Monday. We're getting closer to the holiday season.
Fall.
I can't wait.
Fall is in full swing in the South. It's probably leaving up in the North.
Leaving.
For my friends way up in Fort McMurray, Canada, shout out. Woo! In Alberta.
Did you mean to make that pun? The leaving? Leaves?
Leaving? No, I did not. That's really good, though.
That was good.
Right?
You skimmed over it so quick. I didn't know.
Fall left a month or so ago. I love all my friends up in Fort McMurray. But listen, here's what I know. We've got a very important topic to talk about today, and that is how to make your emergency fund last longer. So we could call it how to make your emergency fund last, but we're going to say how to make it last and last longer.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's some assumptions. So whenever we're talking about a podcast and a certain topic, got to tell the assumptions. What are the assumptions?
So we are assuming a major emergency has occurred. So maybe a job loss, layoff, sudden reduction in work, maybe an accident or a health issue. Something like that occurred, and you need to make that emergency fund last.
So maybe you're listening to the podcast because that's what you do each week. It's part of your rhythm. We appreciate you. You guys rock. But here's what we also know. People search stuff, and we wanted to prepare this for people that they're facing that big major emergency.
Right. Yep.
And they're saying, uh-oh, I got to make this money last. So we're going to give some quick hitting help that will help you. This is advice, but it's time-tested wisdom.
Yeah.
So let's start with the tips. Let's go.
Yep. All right. So the first one is you make immediate cuts. Immediate. So maybe you have a list of items that are immediately eliminated upon this emergency happening.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the immediate ones that are quick: cable subscriptions, retirement investments, savings, maybe charitable giving beyond the tithe, not the tithe.
So listen, there's certain things in your life that if you have encountered a major emergency in life that is creating a financial emergency and the utilization of your emergency fund, that rung number 2 emergency fund, maybe you're at rung number 5 and have a minimum of 3 months, my income is taking a punch. You've got to make immediate cuts, like immediate. You may think you know when that emergency is going to end, but sometimes it's open-ended.
Yeah.
And the faster you break up with the items, the subscriptions, all the things that you're doing, like there's no point in saving for retirement if you have no income for today.
Right.
And you're going to incur a big pile of debt. There's no point in putting money in savings when you're going to be burning savings. These are all good and healthy activities, investing and saving, but you need to cease that if you face this major event. And now there's longer term things you have to do too.
Yeah.
So this is if it's a new reality, like I am now disabled. Yeah, that job was a special job. I don't even know how I had that job. I got way more income than the open market would allow, and that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
So you got to make longer term cuts.
Yeah. I feel like there's also like a reality in the area that we're in. There's a lot of people that have experienced long-term emergency, like they're living in Hurricane Helene damage or Hurricane Milton. Like
that's a fact.
And their life changed, and some of these things they have to do immediately.
And they're listening to this podcast, and it's a month and a half, 2 months later,
and
it's long term.
Crazy.
And our friends up in the mountains, they don't even know when the roads are going to be built again.
No power. I mean, it's.
So hey, make sure you're donating those. We definitely donated to those organizations to help. But here's what I know. Structural change is necessary. So if you have a storage unit, you got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You may need to sell your house.
Yeah.
You may need to invite somebody, rent out a room.
Yeah. But there's probably, you have a storage unit. There's probably a lot of stuff in there that
sell
you could sell and
sell
make
it,
money.
Get that money, and then get rid of the monthly bill.
Yeah.
And then maybe you need to get rid of a vehicle. Well, you've got to make, if it's longer term emergency, you got to make structural shifts. Okay. And I understand that that's difficult, but the sooner you make that decision, the longer your emergency funds will last. And that's what we're trying to help you do. Now we have a second thing.
Yeah. So secure available financial assistance. So maybe disability, unemployment, settlements. Maybe there's friends or family that can help. Maybe a church benevolence. I don't think a lot of people realize is that a lot of churches are set up to help in situations like that
particularly when they are members of the church.
Right. When you're a frequent attender, you've tithed before, you're bought into the, the mission of the church. And churches oftentimes are set up to help and contribute to that. It's just what the church body is supposed to do.
Available, you got to secure that available financial assistance. And I want to speak to something that we all possess as humans. We possess this little thing called pride. Mm-hmm. And pride keeps us from asking for help.
Yeah.
It makes us say, I'll do this myself. I've never had to declare for disability before. I've never had to declare for unemployment before. I've never been in an accident before, but, I know it was their fault, but I forgive them. And yet you're walking around with a permanent limp for the rest of your life and disabled. Well, maybe a settlement. Listen, you need to make sure you secure the available financial assistance. I'm not saying go get it when you're able to produce income yourself again. We're talking about a real world situation where you have literally had something happen major. And if you become disabled, disability is available to you. If you're unemployed, get that unemployment. And listen, ask friends for help. Friends like to help.
Yeah.
Now, they don't like funding what we call crazy. They're not going to fund crazy, but we're not talking about crazy here. We're talking about an emergency.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, in the midst of all this hurricane stuff and all our trees falling down, on our neighborhood, we had skid steers show up, tractors show up. We had giant chainsaws and people cutting stuff. And guess what? There was no bill. Yeah. There was no, hey, a skid steer costs this much a day. It was, let's work together and get this out. Yeah. Friends, family kicking in together. Mm-hmm. So you got to secure your available financial assistance and address pride.
Yeah. All right. The next one, hustle.
Oh.
Some people are really great at the hustle. Some people, it's not your thing. But so maybe what are some ways you could produce some additional income? So is there a side hustle that you could start? Are there items you could sell? Is there a part-time job you could get? There are so many remote online jobs that you could get. You could drive for Uber Eats. You could drive for DoorDash. You could drive for Instacart. Like, is there something like that you can do that can help add some money now?
Listen, I'm telling you right now, having the ability to take your destiny into your hands when something has sideswiped you, when life has happened, this ability to start moving is so healthy to the soul.
Yeah.
Because you can be in a place, and I want to speak to the person that's listening to this right now who's had life happen, and you can feel like, hey, what did I do to deserve this? I didn't do anything to deserve this. Why me? But what I have found in talking to people who've experienced those moments that have been able to successfully move past it and be able to move past it financially is they come to terms with it and then they start moving. And they talk about how when they start moving, they feel like they got control of their life again. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's different than what it looked like in the past, but they start that little side business they've always wanted to anyhow. Usually it comes with a accompanying passion, which is fun. That little part-time job. And I love what you're talking about with DoorDash. I have somebody I talked about, they do it as a side thing 4 nights a week. And they made $55,000 in a year door dashing.
Wow.
Is that unbelievable? $55,000 in a year. What did I say? Did I say in a week?
No, you said a year.
Okay, I'm good. I thought maybe I said $55,000 a week.
Everyone's signing up. Everyone's like DoorDash.
But here's what we know. When you produce $1, every one of those dollars helps you extend the life of your emergency fund by $1. And if you can get $1,000, it extends the life of that. But more than anything, you're going to need encouragement along the way.
Yeah.
And so make sure that you lean on that community around you, your friends, your family, coaches, to ensure you do not walk this path alone. And so that's where it's a really good place to talk about fully funded life.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, you hear that and you're like, oh, I don't have a community of people that are walking that same path as me. Like they're not in the same boat I'm in. They don't know what to do. Well, we have coaches that are able to sit down with you on one-on-one meetings. They're able to talk about your specific financial situation because not everybody's in this position, but a lot of people are where they need help immediately and they need somebody that they trust, that they feel like they can ask their questions and be honest with, and that they're going to give them honest feedback with, they're not trying to sell you anything. They just want to help. And that's their passion. And so our team is here to help. They want to help, but we also have a community of people that are trying to walk this path together, that are trying to get financially free, that are trying to live a fully funded life, that want to ask questions and want to live differently than other people because they want to be able to give more and invest more and help their kids out later. And like they want to be able to do these things, have a debt-free life. And
many of them have experienced an emergency.
Right.
And they successfully navigated it.
Right.
And that's our hope with Fully Funded Life, is to be able to give you access to those people who may be as different as Knight is from Dave on their upbringing and their families and all that stuff. But the one thing they have in common, as you mentioned, is this commitment to be a wise steward of what they have and to help others navigate very difficult challenges. Yeah. And so you get access to one-on-one coaching where a coach can help you with your specific questions. So I really encourage you, if you're looking for that type of community, check out fullyfunded.life. I think it's around $150 for an annual membership. It gets unlimited Zoom coaching appointments with a real live coach who's not allowed to sell you anything other than hope and encouragement. And so we really encourage you to check it out, fullyfunded.life. And thanks so much. The one thing I would ask is if you have other ideas on how, if you've survived an emergency, some financial challenge, and it's helped, some tip that helped you extend your emergency fund, share it in the comments. We would love to hear that, and I know it benefit others. So thanks for being a part of the Monday Money Tip podcast today. Have a great Monday. We'll see you next week with another Monday Money Tip. Get fired up. Hey, thanks for watching this video. There's a lot more content on our website. We got a few of them linked right here, and we got a subscription link as well. We would be so honored if you would click that like and subscribe button and go learn some additional stuff so that you can live your fully funded life.